Hey there, welcome back to the BCR Garage. Today we're going to troubleshoot and hopefully repair an ignition switch issue I'm having with my 1988 Softail Custom. I'm going to try to duplicate the issue that I'm having so you can see. But because I'm filming, it may not happen. You know how that goes. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, so here's the issue I've been having. I got the ignition unlocked. When I go to turn it to ignition, on an intermittent basis, I won't get any lights. No power, nothing will work. Can't start the bike. So sometimes I just wait a few seconds and it will power up. Other times I'll turn it off and then back on and it'll power up. Or it won't, and I have to just jiggle it around, and then eventually it'll always power up and I can start my bike. So it's never left me stranded, but I figure I'm pushing my luck. I got to get this addressed. Common sense tells me it's something in the ignition switch, either a loose connection or some corrosion or some worn parts. So we're going to find out. So hopefully I can show this to you. Hopefully it'll do it. So here we go. Okay, worked that time. I'm not in neutral. That's why the neutral light's not on. So I'm going to just start moving the switch around and hopefully you'll see. You saw a little pause there. So I got nothing up on the light position. Again, about a second pause. I'll do it a few more times, maybe we'll luck out. Oh, there you go, you saw it flash off. There, now it's off. I jiggle it, now it's back on. All right, perfect. There's my problem. All right, let's get into fixing it. First thing I'm going to do is remove my seat and disconnect my battery. And then I'm going to take the little screw out of this trip odometer reset knob. And then I'm going to remove this acorn nut, which is a half-inch socket. So I'll be right back. Okay, always a good idea to disconnect your battery when you're working on electrical items. So always remove your negative cable first, and then your positive. Easy way to remember that is red is always alone. So it's alone right now. And then when we put it back together, we're going to put it on first and it'll be alone again. Makes sense? I like to put some electrical tape around my cable and any other wires I got coming up to my terminals. One, to keep it from making a connection, and two, so none of them fall down somewhere where I got to fish it out. Okay, now we're taking off the little Phillips screw out of the trip odometer knob. Then the knob pulls right out. Next, the acorn nut here. This used to be the choke, but after I got my S&S Super E carb, that eliminates that because it's got its own enrichener. Now the dash panel should pop off, exposing our ignition switch. Unlike later model Evolution Softails, the switch is not connected to this dash cover. It just comes right off. All right, let's see what we got here. All the connections seem to be tight, so that's not my problem. I'm guessing it's the roller contact underneath that might be worn and not giving a good connection to the contacts. And this switch feels pretty loose to me. I can't remember how it was when it was newer, but it does feel a little loosey-goosey. All right. I'm going to take a few pictures of this, which I highly recommend. I also have a service manual, but pictures always really help when putting things back together. All right, I'm going to get my little magnet pickup tool because I do not want to lose these little screws. I'm just taking my time to study everything as I'm taking it off. And this screwdriver is magnetized, but you know, it's not going to be as strong as this magnet. And the last one, that's a jumper. And now there's 4 screws left holding down the switch itself. With little washers on, so be careful not to drop those down. And she's out of there. I'm going to take a little time to study this, and then I'll be back with you. So it operates with this contact bar, making connections between two contact points as you turn it. I don't see, well, obviously nothing was loose, and I don't see any corrosion. I don't believe. No, not really. I do see some wear on the main two contact points. Let me get a pick and I'll show you better. So right there, it's worn. It's worn pretty good right in there. And in there. I don't know if you can see that. And this is the original ignition switch, by the way, from 1988. That's at 34 years. I think I'm going to have to get a replacement. I don't want to dick around with this. You can take them apart and try to clean them, but there's nothing you can do with wear. I just don't think it's making a strong connection. And there's springs in there, and they might be getting worn out. So I'm going to have to order a new one, and when it gets in, we'll finish up this video with the reinstallation and test. All for now.
All right, guys, I'm back. It's been about 2 weeks. I had a little difficulty with my part. Got it from J&P Cycles. They did work with me and we worked it out. But the first ignition switch that arrived, it looked real good. But as I searched through the packaging, guess what was missing? Yep, the keys. So it was basically a paperweight. So I had to ship it back, wait a few more days, and then they shipped another one out, and I had to wait 4 or 5 more days. So all in all, it took, I believe, 16 days for the double shipment. I'll show you what I got here. Okay, here's the old one. This is the mechanical switch, as you know. And while I did find one mechanical switch, so they are apparently still out there, 99% of them were the new electronic switches. So everything's internal and there's no mechanical moving parts in it. So anyway, everything else is identical. I had seen some complaints from people on these various switches saying that they were lower and they had to shim the mounts. But as you can see here, I'll get you a shot. If you can see that, mine are identical height. Hopefully you can see that. So no problems there. And this one did ship with the keys, and also more of an old school cover. If you wanted to switch those out, it's got an extra little rod there to attach that, and then here's the keys. So we're good to go. All right, I'm going to take it over to the bike and we'll get her wired up. I can see already this is going to be a little more fiddly because the contacts are lower to the brackets, and this connection here is interfering a little bit. Okay, it's lined up. I might have to reroute this blue wire just a little bit. Let me get one of the screws started. And I'm reusing my original mounting screws because it did not come with those. It only came with the contact screws. Make sure you use a magnetized screwdriver, because if you drop one of these screws, you're never going to find it. Okay, as you know, I took pictures of the wiring setup. I also took a picture of the wiring diagram from my Harley-Davidson service manual, which I'll post on the screen now, and you can pause and do a screen capture if you need that. Okay, I got it all wired up. I did not have to reroute that one. I was able to get my connection down in there. Just took a little fiddling around. And FYI, I did not use any Loctite. I did not use any dielectric grease. Number one, the service manual doesn't call for it. Number two, there wasn't any on there when I took it apart. So that's good enough for me. So I double and triple checked my connections according to the wiring diagram and my pictures, and we're all good. Now let's go ahead and test the lights. And I do have it in neutral now. There we go. Engine light, neutral light. No wiggling. All four positions working correctly. And it's a much smoother operation with this electronic switch compared to the mechanical one, and there's no wiggle, so I'm liking it. All right, well, I guess the only thing left to do other than put my seat back on is to fire it up. Oh yeah, and I'll put my dash on, and don't forget the blue Loctite on the acorn nut here and on the trip odometer screw. Very important, because those guys will back out on you. Here we go. Hope this was helpful. See you on the next one. BCR out.